What y'all doing? Just step aside and let me on in now.
Why you need him to do that? You big and strong enough to push past us?
Well, that wouldn't be too polite now, would it, Miss Annie?
Wait. Did I just watch a Ryan Coogler movie I actually enjoyed? During the week, myself and my wife went to see the new Ryan Coogler film that's had other reviewers raving as the best film of the year so far. But it's also a film that symbolises every problem with the US box office at the moment. Sinners. So what did I think? Now before I continue, I just have to ask, if you enjoy these reviews, please subscribe. This is a small channel, and at the time of recording, we're just short of our first 1,000 subscribers. So please, help us get over the line. And now on with the review. 1932, the Mississippi Delta, and identical twins, Smoke and Stack Moore, played by Michael B. Jordan, First World War veterans and notorious gangsters, have returned from Chicago to start a juke joint using money stolen from every faction of the Chicago mobs. Their star attraction? Their cousin, Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, played by Miles Caton. Sammy has an almost supernatural ability to play the guitar, touching the past, present and future of music. An ability that draws the unwanted attention of Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, an Irish immigrant who searches for those with Sammy's gift, and who also happens to be a vampire. I think it's safe to say that Ryan Coogler has proven how good a director he is already with 2013's Fruitvale Station. A brilliant film, yes, but not really enjoyable as it retold the harrowing tale of the death of Oscar Grant III. Coogler then followed it up with more traditional studio fare such as Creed and the overrated Black Panther, a film that for me signaled the beginning of the formulaic franchise that Marvel would become, where online hype is used to cover up the lack of any real substance. But Sinners signals what Ryan Coogler can do when not hemmed in by the rules of sequels or the formulas of franchises. And yet, for all the praise the film is getting, and most of it is deserved, it's also not the most original, as you get that nagging feeling, you know, I've seen this one before.
Everybody be cool. You be cool.
First, the good. And it's really good. Now, there's no question this is a beautiful looking film. Cinematographer Autumn Arkapaw almost paints each scene with light, be it the seemingly never-ending cotton fields of Mississippi that stretch off into the horizon, to the moment the past, present and future collide in the juke joint. While Coogler shows a mastery of visual direction not through gunfights or pacing, although that is there, but the simple act of a young girl crossing a street to fetch her mother. To me, that is one of the most visually daring moments on screen so far this year. As for the cast, under Coogler's direction, this is almost a collection of flawless performances. Michael B. Jordan convinces you simply through mannerisms and a wry smile that twins Smoke and Stack are two completely different men. While Oluwemi Mosaku, best known to audiences as B-15 in Deadpool and Wolverine, almost outshines Jordan as Annie, Smoke's wife and practitioner of voodoo. Jack O'Connell is every inch the charismatic monster Remnick. Ironically, the one character on screen who doesn't judge people on the colour of their skin. But the film belongs to two men, Delroy Lindo and Miles Canton. Now Lindo is a name and a face everyone recognises. He could have just phoned it in as Delta Slim, the juke joint pianist, the way you see other names do. But Lindo takes a single scene describing a friend's lynching and manages, just through his eyes, the pained expression on his face, the pauses and breaths between lines to get across the injustice, the terror of the American Jim Crow South, leaving the audience to consider where the true horror lies, with Coogler's screenplay deftly avoiding the need to ham-fistedly lecture its audience, unlike the ending of Black Panther. As for Miles Canton's Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, you are left thinking as you watch him on screen, wait, this is his first feature film? in an acting debut from a musician reminiscent of David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth in terms of a confidence and a presence far beyond his years. Sinners, however, is not just a horror movie, but a film about the power of music, how it unites and connects cultures. Coogler shows that there is more uniting us than dividing us through the selections of songs from African American to Irish, accompanied by another superb score by Ludwig Göransson. One show-stopping moment being the vampire Merrick, along with his enslaved minions, performing one of the most powerful versions of the Rocky Road to Dublin I have ever seen on screen. A horrifying yet toe-tapping scene reminiscent of Riverdance, while Coogler takes the tropes of vampire films of the past and gives them his own twist. The eroticism common throughout the Hammer horror era here is given a dirtier, grittier realism. When the vampires get excited at the prospect of a kill, they drool. But what drips from their mouth doesn't look like spittle. But how can one put this delicately? A very different bodily fluid. Coogler takes the more well-known rules and twists them.
Don't talk to him. You talking to me right now. Why you can't just walk your big ass up in here without an invite, huh? Go ahead. Admit to it.
Admit to what?
That you dead.
The vampires here are merely pawns of Remick, nothing more than puppets on a string he controls for his amusement. Yet, as I said before, Remick is a monster searching for something, polite before he kills, yet judges no one on the colour of their skin, something the humans he hunts cannot claim. In one scene, he hints that he has seen far worse atrocities than he has carried out, and is close to being 1600 years old. That he knows what it's like to be hunted for being the other, something he tempts Sammy with. So I can see why Sinners has been getting so much praise from critics. But this praise is a signal of just how poor storytelling has become in the past decade in Hollywood, because Sinners is far from an original story. Two notorious brothers on the run end up in a bar where wild music plays until the customers are attacked by vampires? That's Dusk Till Dawn. A house of ill repute under siege from monsters who cannot enter unless invited in, as the customers inside reluctantly protect the chosen one, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Someone call Billy Zane, because I'm pretty sure that's Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. And this is not a criticism of Coogler's choice as a filmmaker. He has, like hundreds of filmmakers before him, taken the B-movie tropes we're all familiar with and made something his own.
Don't ever invite a vampire into your house, you silly boy. It renders you powerless.
The criticism is reserved for a studio system afraid to make anything of real quality, obsessed instead with streaming services, franchises, and let's face it, safe, sanitized remakes guaranteed not to offend or entertain, as audiences desperate to see something new help to propel inadvertently another cookie-cutter movie starring a gurning Jack Black towards $1 billion at the box office.
Don't I know it?
While film critics, like drowning sailors clinging to wreckage, see any small light of originality and start screaming salvation. Because Coogler's Sinners is not quite the cinematic masterpiece those same critics claim it to be. The story, at points, lags, with characters making nonsensical decisions that bring disaster down upon their heads for no other reason than to propel the story towards the end. And a final 5 minutes involving the Ku Klux Klan that, although invigorating to watch, makes very little sense as the credits roll, because Coogler makes a decision which shows an overexposure to the Marvel franchise way of filmmaking. He puts a mid-credit sequence in, but in this case, not a little joke or an afterthought, but a full 5-minute ending to the film that is not only moving, but adds a new weight to that which we thought was the finale, but one at least half the audience in the theatre we were in didn't see because they'd already left.
Order! Order! Knock it off!
Is Sinners brilliant? Yes. Exciting? Absolutely. Original? No. The best film of the year so far? I suppose. But then again, that wouldn't be too hard considering some of the slop we've been served. But Sinners is, despite its flaws, worth watching on the biggest screen possible. Sinners is on nationwide release, and for the first time since January, I can say of a new release, go watch it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
And if you like this episode of So What Did I Think, and want to see more, please remember to click like and subscribe. Always subscribe. Thanks for watching.